pants. I need to wear a mini skirt. All right, sometimes you just have to show. Tiger, yes, you're right. Mount Rushmore, it stops right there. It's not bragging. It's real.
It would have been absurd for him to have a list of the 4 greatest golfers not include himself.
And Jenna, I know you like the more humble Tiger, but every once in a while you just have to tell him.
No,
okay?
That
right?
I enjoyed.
I mean, he let us in a little bit, but he also let you know, hey, the old Tiger's still back too.
I will say I feel like old Tom Morris got snubbed there, but just my opinion. What? Hey, if we're out here making Mount Rushmores, hey, Tiger's out here making lists. Now, young Tom Morris was good, but old Tom Morris and his, I think, 6 British Opens back when I think he was the only one.
Wait, do you agree with the list?
Oh, it's a great list.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay. Jones, Snead, Nicklaus, Snead, and Tiger are no questions. And then
Bobby Jones, man, his story, Bobby Jones, like, yes, he's there.
All right, stories to start your morning brought to you by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil, with all eyes on LeBron James at Lakers Media Day. Luke Walton shifted the focus by announcing Rajon Rondo will be the Lakers starting point guard. Lonzo Ball is still not 100% from offseason knee surgery. Seemed like the right choice, but Nick, what do you think? Good decision to go with Rondo over Lonzo?
Absolutely. This is about Lonzo's not being at full health, and I just think it goes back to good decision to bring in Rajon Rondo. There's a lot of skepticism when this move's announced. What's Magic and Pelinka doing? Why are they adding more non-shooters? Well, they maybe knew there was something that Lonzo needed addressed with the knee, and the iron sharpens iron. I think Rondo's going to help Lonzo so much out during the year in practice.
And I like the fact, too, because LeBron very seldom has he had someone else who can get on guys and chew them. He had that in Miami. He had that with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade would get on other players. I like the fact that LeBron has Rondo. Lonzo needs Rondo, but LeBron needs Rondo too, so it's not always LeBron chastising all these young players.
All right, on to the NFL, where Vikings running back Dalvin Cook was on the field with his teammates for practice yesterday. Cook is nursing a hamstring injury, which kept him out of last week's game. The Vikings have a big matchup tomorrow over on Fox against the Rams. CeCe, what would having Cook back on the field do for the Vikings offense, which struggled in week 3?
Oh, he's a very good football player. It gives them the ability to be able to dominate time of possession. How do you defeat the Rams? Man, you got to go hold that football. You got to make Sean McVay and that offense rush when they get out there. Create turnovers defensively, hold the ball control offense. That's what you can do with Cook, Nick.
Because you know the Rams are going to have good time of possession, considering they have 3 and outs all year. The fewest in the league by an enormous margin. So you can't be going 3 and out. One way to prevent that is making sure you're in 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 3s. Dalvin Cook's a big part of it.
Tremendous point.
All right, finally, after several controversial roughing the passer calls, many have expressed their disdain for the new rules. And the NFL Competition Committee has taken notice. Several members of the committee are uncomfortable with a number of the calls so far. CeCe, what do you think about all this?
It's just like any other rule. When you typically make the adjustment to the rule, you go too far, trying to send a message. And the referees enforcing this and the way they've enforced it, I mean, 34 roughing the passer. And after 3 weeks, last year, we only had 16 at this point. Like, it's unnecessary. You have not made the game better. Now, we'll all hide behind, well, we want the game to be safer. You're not making the quarterback safer. All right? You're not saving injuries, but what you're doing is you're telling all the defensive players, that means any guy who blitzes, that means a cornerback, linebackers, and all the defensive linemen, we make the game more dangerous for you because now I'm going to make you play a game you're not familiar with. I want you to hit a guy, and I want you to not land on him.
Didn't someone just get hurt doing that?
Yeah, the Dolphins DN.
Yeah, Hayes. And they're going to lose him. He's a big part of their pass rush. You know, a multi-dimensional player, can play inside, can play outside. He said he was trying to avoid landing on him and tore his ACL. These are real things. Competition Committee, I beg you, do not make the quarterback like the kicker. The kicker's not a football player. Don't make the quarterback a kicker, because if you do, it will devalue the game. And you're not making the game safer.
And first of all, it's a great point. And we are all fine that kickers and punters are treated specially. A, they're specialists. B, they are in a very vulnerable position, particularly the punters. Like, we get that part of it. But I'm glad that the league has. Look at week 1, the hit Andrew Luck took. Week 2, the hit Cam Newton took.
Yes.
Where they were, guys came in.
Yeah, we
and
have to take that out of the game.
Targeted them with their helmet, and those guys got ejected. I'm glad that the league has gone as far as to say, not only are those hits going to be penalized every time, but you can be kicked out. Those are unnecessary plays. But where I think the competition committee does have some daylight here is, remember the big focus in the preseason on leading with your helmet? Felt like every preseason game, there was a couple of those penalties. I haven't seen one of those penalties called in the regular season.
There was one last week's game. I was getting ready to call it, but the league, they haven't been calling the targeting, so they can adjust it. When they put the emphasis on these rules, no different than the Chuck rule, no different than the hitting quarterbacks below the knee rule. Like, they changed this rule because of Aaron Rodgers. They changed the first rule because of Tom Brady. Now Aaron Rodgers gets injured last year. Now you have to be able to dial it back, keep quarterbacks as football players.
And the other part of this, we were talking about this before the show. Part of the reasons that you had the career that you had is because you could withstand a level of punishment. Some guys couldn't.
That's part of pro football.
That's part of pro football, is being able to withstand the inherent violence that comes along with the game. And we talked about Eli Manning earlier. One of the reasons Eli Manning, whatever you think of him, has been able to establish himself as a fringe Hall of Fame quarterback is because he's so durable. He should not be, he wouldn't be being penalized for this. But guys, you said earlier that one of the reasons people for years have had a hard time determining what quarterbacks would work and what quarterbacks wouldn't is you don't know who can withstand the punishment.
No.
You can't remove.
No, I don't know who John Elway is. I don't know who is Joe Montana. I don't know who Dan Marino is. Dan Marino lost all his legs and everything. He sat in that pocket and took a beating, released the football. That's what separated those guys. Troy Aikman. People, man, that dude's got a chin like a boxer. And that's, we evaluate quarterbacks totally different now. Would Tom Brady be that in no foot? No, we don't want it for the safety reasons, but it's the way to be able to evaluate a professional football player's what can he take from a pain threshold and a violent standpoint.
And listen, there's a clip going around the internet right now people sent me this week of our Terry Bradshaw of, I forget who they're playing, but they pick him up. They pick him up over his head, throw him on his head. He rode on the team. He's playing. He's playing. No, okay, yes, no. Terry, when he's playing for the Steelers, they strapped him to a board on the team airplane and flew home with him like that. Like, we are not asking that the league go back to an era of 40 years ago. But sometimes, in an effort to make things better, you overcorrect. And I just think when the players, coaches, and now at this point, even some of the owners say, we seem to have overcorrected a bit. It's one conference call. It's one conference call that can get it to where this is not the story of an otherwise super exciting season.
It's a very good point. Even the quarterbacks are saying, oh, we don't need this. Aaron Rodgers said,
and it's bringing flopping into it. We don't need an NBA. Big Ben admitted it. I flopped on that one when he got touched on the helmet. Like, we don't need that. That's the worst aspect of the NBA is the flopping. We don't need to bring that to pro football.
We do not need to become soccer.
No.
That's for darn sure. Let's move on to some basketball now. Let's talk some Lakers. There's newfound excitement in the city of Los Angeles as LeBron James takes center stage. Expectations are high for the team surrounding him. Maybe not Golden State Warriors high, but close. And it took all of 2 days of training camp for LeBron to start getting peppered with questions about loyalty and royalty. Here's King James after practice yesterday.
LeBron, the LA fan base, how do you expect to earn their respect and earn their loyalty?
Who, me?
The fan base, yes.
Me?
Yes.